Hi, I'm Bob Lovell, the host of Network Indiana's Indiana Sports Talk. In 1984, with single-class basketball, teams had to win 2 games in one day to win the state championship. The Crown Point Lady Bulldogs played the Warren Central Lady Warriors in the state final game. Having already each played a game that Saturday morning, these two very tired teams faced off for the state final game. The game was a hard-fought battle for both teams, coming down to the wire with Crown Point ultimately winning by 1 point when the horn went off.
The Indiana High School Athletic Association proudly presents another championship event. We have returned to Indianapolis, Indiana, the Hoosier capital and the home of Hoosier hysteria. Tonight, it's the ladies who have center stage as we bring you the championship game of the 9th Annual Girls State Basketball Championship, featuring the Lady Bulldogs of Crown Point High School and the Lady Warriors of Warren Central. Hello, everybody.
And the state finals is totally different than it is today. Now, you play 1 game. Then you had to play 2. So the first thing we had to do was win our first game.
Well, we were coming off a pretty tough game, early game, and with our style of play, we run up and down the floor, we're pressing a lot, so we were tired. We were emotionally tired, we were physically tired.
So really, there was little preparation because we played the second game. And it was basically get out on the floor, play your game, and try to force them into playing the game that you wanted them to play. We knew they had Stephanie Blake, who is a great player inside, and they also had a 6'6" young center in Linda Godby, and they were surrounded by very athletic basketball players, and they had one of the best coaching staffs in Sue Parrish.
Coach took us away from it. We took our focus. We just went someplace neutral, relaxed. We had a great parental support system. They brought in food. They took care of us. They just wanted us to take our minds off the game.
Gina Galambus, who started as our shooting forward, if you want to say ball handling forward, went down unfortunately in the semifinal game of our state championship game that year. In between games we were in the hotel and Mr. Tom May came in and I was sitting there with Sandy Grabowski and he looked at me and he said, "Do you think you can do this?" And I said, "What do you mean? Do I think I can do what?" And he said, "You're going to have to step up. Gina's not going to be able to play."
What I remember about that is just waiting to play the state final game. After the first game, we were exhausted, and just the time between the 2 games, just waiting to play in the anticipation to play the state final game.
The game against Warren Central, I think my strongest memory on that game is entering the stadium. I think the feeling of pure exhaustion after playing a game earlier in the day and then walking up that ramp in Market Square Arena into this sea of colors of mainly red was an awing experience, and the noise and the intensity, and all of a sudden my exhaustion immediately went away.
The game, I do remember just being really nervous as a sophomore, and one of our players, Lori Castetter, had hurt her knee in the sectionals, I believe it was, and so all of a sudden I was in the game.
I remember the start. I remember we got off to a fantastic start. We were pressing and we were getting some steals, getting easy buckets. Now whether we went away from that or they adjusted, I don't really remember. I remember the game as going back and forth.
How do I describe this? We came out flat. I think they went up on us 15 points just at the beginning. It seemed like we were climbing a mountain trying to get to where we needed to be, but slowly and surely we did come in and play our game, and we did even the playing field.
We would pull ahead. I'm sure Nancy came down and hit a shot. We would pull ahead and then all of a sudden they'd come back down and score. I'm sure it was Linda Godby. But it was back and forth, and it was a feeling that neither team wanted to give in, and it got to the point where we actually eventually then the game was tied and we went into overtime.
Overtime game was strictly back and forth. We're up by 2, they're up by 1, we're up by 1. They finally got a lead and we made the last basket and got a rebound on their attempt, missed our last free throw, and then the game came down to a last really launch from midcourt for us to secure the win and win by 1 point. We really did not know if we were going to win or lose that game until probably the last 15 seconds of the game. It was that close.
The game was back and forth, exciting. At the end of regulation, we missed a shot to win the game. The game went into overtime. We got a rebound on a free throw, and I got the ball. And back at that time, I was unable to see the clock above, so I shot a little bit early. The crowd was yelling, shoot. I shot half court and, of course, missed, and Crown Point beat us by 1 point in overtime.
When the horn went off in that final game in the state championships game, not only joy overcame me, but such a sigh of relief. I wasn't slotted to be a starter on that final game, and due to an unfortunate injury by a phenomenal basketball player, I had to step up to that role, and it was the most agonizing thing if we would have lost that game.
I think there's always that moment of disbelief, like, did it really go off? Is the game really over? Did we really lose the game? And then it was just, you know, you're heartbroken. Like I said, you're kind of sitting there with the tears flowing, although you're trying not to cry because you look terrible when you cry.
When I knew we were state champs, it was a little bit unbelievable. I think we worked so hard all year long to achieve that goal, to reach the goal of what we didn't achieve the year before. And to be a senior, to be one of the captains, and to achieve this goal that we basically have been working since 4th grade for, was great. You know, it was. I think we at that point learned in our lives how hard work can build, and you can achieve this goal.
It was a hard loss, and you know, when I still watch the games to this day, the state finals, I still have a twinge in my heart from losing that game. It was just sad, but it was hard.
We were devastated. It was our senior year. We had worked hard to get there, and after we got our awards, we had to ride back to school to see the principal and greet our fans and all that, and you know, we had lost by 1 point in overtime. And to me, it was devastating. I took the last second shot from half court.
For our parents, my parents in the stands, looking for family, looking for friends, just feeling so proud of the fact that all of that hard work that we put into getting to be a good basketball team, it all came into fruition. And to be state champs, to be undefeated, is what we had dreamed about. That was what we wanted. The prior year when we got beat in the state championship game, we all, I think, beat ourselves up and said, we're not going to feel like this again next year. So up on the podium, I do remember that. It was a sense of relief, but yet we did it, and no better feeling. I don't think there's any better feeling than that.
Just sheer relief. It was a battle the whole game. I don't think anybody predicted one way or the other. It was just so back and forth the whole game, but it was that feeling of accomplishment, because our goal, like I had said, it was from the very summer before, was we don't want to be runners-up. We want to actually, we want to win. And that feeling was amazing. Happy for yourself, happy for your teammates, and probably most important, happy for Coach May for all that he had done with all of us all season long. So it was a great accomplishment.
Playing high school athletics was extremely important in the fact that you learned so many life skills. The first one that I still use to this day is teamwork. Whether it's facilitating a meeting or trying to get somebody on the same page and agree with you on something that you're working on, you go back to that teamwork skill that you learn.
That high school athletics can be such a positive in terms of learning life lessons. I was one of few. I'm finding the older I get, I was very fortunate. Not everybody and very few people get the opportunities and the memories and the situations that I was fortunate enough to be a part of. I probably preferred and learned more from the team sport aspect, I'm always happier when I'm part of a team, and I think I'm more effective when I'm part of a team.
Playing basketball or any sport, I think, in high school, it's just a great preparation for life overall. I played volleyball and predominantly basketball, but just being around teammates and learning how to work together with different people for a common goal, how to listen to direction, coaches that taught me things, taught me how to be disciplined. They always said discipline is doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, but doing it to the best of your ability. So I think I carried that on to the rest of my life.
Winning a state championship and playing high school basketball has definitely influenced my life. At this point, I'm still back at Crown Point High School. On the other end, though, I'm actually coaching our girls varsity team. So I think having played and probably having the success that our teams had over the years has definitely influenced me in wanting me to get back, to give back actually to our community and to our girls program.
I think the experience of being a state champion back in high school has had a huge part of the rest of my life. I think that experience really taught you how hard work helps with success. I did not play basketball in college, but I think I learned how to work hard. I learned how to multitask, I learned how to put it all together to continue to succeed.
The experience of being involved in high school athletics, I think, is very important to any young person growing up, especially going and winning a championship game. It makes you truly believe that if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything in your life.
I think high school athletics influenced me by the teamwork, the discipline, and the lifelong friendships.
Keep up to date with the boys basketball tournament as well as upcoming spring sports at IHSAA.org. For the IHSAA, I'm Bob Lovell.